Hello, welcome back to Rev Endurance Sports and another edition of What is in Our Stand today. And that is a hashtag you can follow, What is in Our Stand today, across all my social media. All right, well, today we're going to talk about tubeless tires. We're going to talk about tubeless repair, and we're going to talk about a tubeless repair kit from Muc-Off. All right, so my camera person, if you would zoom in or walk closer, you'll see all this sealant on the back, the rear triangle of my bike. So on the seat stays, down here on the seat tube, it's all really mucky. And what happened is I had a puncture and the sealant would seal it up momentarily and then it would pop out again. I started the ride at about 80 PSI. So let's see where we're at. We're gonna open up the valve here and we're gonna see what it registers. The valve is probably stuck. It's not registering anything, but I know I have at least maybe 40 PSI. All right, anyway, so we're gonna take this off and if you would please come closer. So I lost it, but okay, so there it is. Now, there's some buildup there, which I'm starting to peel off. So we may get a geyser. So we don't have much there, so maybe let's try something else. Let's try and just pop this thing with additional air pressure. Because what I want to do is find the actual hole, because I need to use a tool . Hear it?
There's a little puff of something that came out.
There it is, right there, so we can target it much better. It's going to be right in the center of that. Okay, so let's let the air out. And we had to get it to almost 110, 120 for it to finally pop. So what we're going to use is this tool from Muc-Off. Now what I did was, on this ride, because I knew I already had an issue with this tire, I brought with me this tool, and I also brought with me a pump to inflate it in case I needed to do this repair on the road. So let's put this on a blue background so you can see it better. So you have this tool here, and we're going to use this one because this is more for road type punctures. See if that's better.
What is it made out of? Is it like flexible stuff?
I don't know. It's kind of rubbery. And then you have this tool that has a protective tip on it. And then now you can see what this tool looks like as well.
Okay. That goes on the end of that pink thing?
Mm-hmm. Now, what we're going to do is just take one of these guys and all right. Now in the Muc-Off instructions, it says to not fully insert this. It just says to put it right on the tip, about halfway in, kind of like that. It also says when you're doing the insertion not to get to this rough part here, because that, for mountain bike use or mountain bike tire use, you would ream it first with this and then put the plug in. But for the roadside, it says not to do that. Okay, so we found the hole, and the technique is supposed to be that you put it in, always making sure you're not going to puncture the tape underneath, because then you have other problems. And kind of get it in, they said, about halfway. Then they said to twist it a little bit. So we're going to do the twist. And then they said to hold it and pull it back out. All right, well, that looks like it's holding. So we have a little bit of excess there, but they said that's fine. So now let's see. Oh, actually, we would have to put sealant in that. So let's do that as well. And we're going to use a compressor because, well, we're in the shop environment and we want to, for expedience, use a lot of air. So normally for rear tires, I put more than the front because 80% of punctures are rears, it seems to me, in my experience over time. So we'll just try to move this around, create some head pressure on the top of the syringe. I don't usually use the plunger because sometimes it gets stuck and I'd rather that not happen. Now, because this is sealant, of course, over a long period of time, remember that this is a syringe for shop use, so it does get a lot of sealant flowing through it, and sometimes kind of like clogged arteries, you sometimes get a little bit of extra sealant just sticking to the walls of the syringe. And when you hear that gurgling, that's good. Okay, so we got that. And this is a very messy job, no matter how neat you try to be, by the way. Screw the valve back on. This is a nice little tool. It's a Genuine Innovations tool. It's bigger than most core removal tools. I like it. I use it here in the shop environment because I do so many tubeless installs. All right, so now what we're going to do is air this up, and the compressor might kick on. So what we want to make sure is, now that we've put air pressure in here, that that plug is holding. It appears to be holding. So we're going to spin the tire just to get the sealant distributed throughout the rest of the tire. And it appears to be holding. Now my pump's regulated at 100 PSI. So it's holding 100 PSI. It's holding for now. And there is a shop ride tomorrow morning. So it is about 4 o'clock this afternoon. We'll see if it holds air overnight. And, well, there you go. There's a tubeless tire repair that you would do out on the field with the Muc-Off system. Now, I've used different systems, and to be honest with you, these little strips have always popped out. And I wonder if it's the quality of this little rubber strip, or if none of the other instructional videos said to give it a little twist, to turn it inside there. Maybe that helped create a little bit more like maybe a knot on the inside of the tire to keep it from blowing out. But yeah, it's holding. So tomorrow, typically 40 to 50 miles on our Tuesday morning ride. We'll see if that holds, but I'm quite impressed. So, okay, that's all for today. Please like and subscribe. And in the meantime, we'll see you up the road.